now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and we're back today with another Sandra Bullock film, this time a John Grisham novel turned film, A Time to Kill, starring Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock, Samuel L. Jackson, Kevin Spacey, Oliver Platt, Charles S. Dutton, Brenda Fricker, Donald Sutherland, Kiefer Sutherland, Ashley Judd, Chris Cooper, Kurtwood Smith, and M. Emmett Walsh. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As we said in the introduction, today we're going to take a look at the John Grisham novel turned theatrical film, A Time to Kill. And I'm just going to get this out here right here and now. This review comes with a trigger warning. If the topic of rape and racism and all the stuff that goes with that are things that mess with you and trigger your senses, this is not an episode you need to watch. Turn it off now I'll see you tomorrow when I do Black Adam. For those of you that can handle the topic matter, let's get into the film here, shall we? Our movie opens in Canton, Mississippi, as 10-year-old African-American girl Tanya Haley is abducted, raped, and beaten by two local white men, Billy Ray Cobb and James Willard, while she's on her way home from the grocery store. The duo then dump her in a nearby river after a failed attempt at hanging her. Tanya survives the ordeal, and the two men are arrested by Sheriff Ozzie Walls. Tanya's father, Carl Lee Haley, enlists the services of Jake Brigance, a white lawyer who previously had defended his brother. Jake admits that there is a strong possibility that the rapists will walk free, so Carl Lee goes to the county courthouse and opens fire with an automatic rifle, killing both rapists and unintentionally wounding Deputy Dwayne Looney, whose leg is later amputated. Carl Lee is then arrested, and Jake agrees to defend him. As the rape and subsequent revenge killing gain national media attention, District Attorney Rufus Buckley decides to seek the death penalty. Now, presiding judge Omar Noose denies Jake a request for change of venue to a more ethnically diverse county, meaning that Carl Lee Haley will more than likely have an all-white jury. Jake seeks help from his defense team, law student Ellen Roark, close friend Harry Rex Vonner, and former mentor and longtime activist Lucian Wilbanks, a once great civil rights lawyer. Meanwhile, Billy Ray's brother, Freddie Lee Cobb, plans to avenge his brother's death by joining and enlisting the help of the Mississippi branch of the Ku Klux Klan, as well as its Grand Dragon, Stump Sisson, in order to ensure Carl Lee's conviction and death sentence by any means necessary. On the first day of the trial, the Klan rallies only to be outnumbered by counter-protesters, consisting of the area's minority residents, as well as the few whites who support Carl Lee. The protest erupts into a violent brawl that results in dozens of injuries, as well as the death of Stump Sisson. The Klan also begins to target Brigance and his family by assaulting his elderly secretary and her husband, who ends up dying of a heart attack brought on by the resulting attack, as well as by burning a cross on Jake's front lawn, and by threatening his wife and young daughter. When Jake refuses to back down, Cobb kidnaps and assaults Roark as the Klan increases their attacks, which include burning down the Brigance house. Dispirited, Jake tells Carl Lee that there is very little hope for an acquittal. Carl Lee then tells Jake that he chose him as an attorney because he is a white man, and as such has insight into how the jury sees Carl Lee. Carl Lee says, and I quote, "When you look at me, you don't see a man, you see a black man. You are my secret weapon because you are one of the bad guys. You don't mean to be, but you are. It's how you were raised. No matter how you see me different. You see me like that jury sees me. You are them. If you was on that jury, what would it take to convince you to set me free?" During the closing arguments, a deeply shaken Brigance tells the jury to close their eyes and listen to a story. He goes on to describe in slow and painful detail the entire ordeal of Tanya, which causes some of the jurors to shed tears. In his final comment, Jake then asks the jury to now imagine that she's white. After deliberation, a black child runs out of the courthouse and screams he's innocent. Jubilation ensues amongst the supporters while the Klan become enraged over their defeat. Meanwhile, Sheriff Walls arrests Freddie for his crimes as well as a corrupt deputy who is revealed to be a Klan member. As our movie ends, Jake brings his wife and daughter to a cookout at Carl Lee's house in order to celebrate his freedom, challenging Carl Lee's previous statement that their children would never play together. Like I said, if the conversation and the subject matter of the details of this movie, Tanya Lee Haley's abduction, rape, attempted hanging, the Klan, the drawn racist tendencies of this movie, if any of that stuff is triggering to you and you've made it this far through my review, then I want to commend you and thank you, because I know how hard it is for some people to hear those details and to discuss those details because they've either experienced it themselves or they know somebody who's experienced it. And so it's like reliving a painful memory. So for those of you that are still with me, thank you. Now, that being said, I remember when this movie was coming out and seeing the trailers on television and at the theaters. And I was really captivated by its story. I wanted to see this. But I made the decision. I had to read the book first. And I did. And I'm a slower reader than a lot of people are. So it took me a long time to get through it. By the time I finished the book, the movie was no longer in theaters. And I was devastated that I couldn't go see this movie in theaters now. I had to just bide my time. So once it became available on VHS, I went out and I rented it. There were no DVDs yet. There were no Blu-rays. Went and rented the VHS from my local video store and I watched it. And as great as the book was, and as visually descriptive as the book was, because I was able to imagine the entire movie in front of my eyes as I read it, I thought the movie was just as good, if not better, because then you're seeing things actually play out in front of you. You have in your head the way you see things going based off of reading the book, and now you're getting, in this case, it was Joel Schumacher who directed it, his perception as to how it went. And man, the storytelling in this movie is just so phenomenal. And then you add in the cast. Matthew McConaughey, and the first thing I've ever seen him do. Sandra Bullock, who I was already a fan of by this point. Sam Jackson, who I was already a fan of by this point. Kiefer Sutherland, alongside his father Donald. Oliver Platt. You've got Brenda Fricker, the bird lady from Home Alone 2. It's such a great cast. Ashley Judd. And I think the first movie I had ever seen her do. Such a good cast and an eclectic group of people to represent these roles. And they did it so beautifully. And then you've got the whole, again, the topic matter, which even for somebody like myself who doesn't get triggered by those topics, watching the initial rape sequence at the beginning of the movie with Tanya is cringeworthy at best. Even I shudder and I'm like, damn, the things that this little girl's going through. Then you find out over the course of the movie that her womb is completely destroyed. She will never bear children as a result of this attack. Oh my God. Granted, at 10 years old, you're not really thinking about having kids. But to know that that's not even an option for her anymore at this point, based off of what the two white trash redneck characters did, it's so horrible to think about. And your heart goes out to her. And then you think about Carl Lee. And as a father myself, if somebody did that to my little girl, you had best believe that I would do the same damn things that Carl Lee Haley did. Without a doubt, there is nothing that would stop me from carrying out my own justice if something like that happened to my baby girl. And I'm watching this for the first time in like 1996, and keep in mind I'm maybe 20 years old, 21. I don't have kids yet. But you still, your heart goes out to Carly, and you're like, man, if that, I can understand exactly why he did it. And his scene on the witness stand, yeah, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. And the whole courtroom goes aghast by that comment, because it's like, wow, you just admitted to the entire court that you did it, that you have no remorse for doing it, that you hope that the people that you killed are rotting in hell, and then you still get declared innocent because it's a crime of passion, a crime of justice, a crime of temporary insanity. It's just so good. When it comes to my rating on this one, I give A Time to Kill, it should be no surprise, I give it 5 out of 5 stars. Again, the cast, the storytelling, the subject matter is what it is. You kind of have to put that to the side. Again, I know for some people it's hard, and things like rape, abduction, hanging, racism, the Klan, all that stuff is trigger topics. So, again, people that have made it this far in my review, thank you. If you have seen A Time to Kill, what do you think about it? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And it's new release Saturday, and we're making up the movie that we didn't get to do last week. We're going to take a look at Black Adam, starring Dwayne Johnson, Aldous Hodge, Noah Centineo, Quintessa Swindell, Pierce Brosnan, Sarah Shahi, and Marwan Kenzari. And then at this point in time, tentatively, here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as well as over on the Jeff Meacham Network, we may or may not be covering NWA Hard Times. And I say it like that because, unfortunately, it was originally going to be Jeff and Noah calling the action for this show. Jeff has been called in to work at the House of Mouse. Noah may or may not be able to purchase the show or get into the account to see the show. So this is tentative for tomorrow, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. Hopefully we'll be able to deliver this. But even if we are not able to deliver Hard Times, we will be live at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern, or as soon as Hard Times is over, for Open Mic Night. As Jeff Meacham, Noah Foster, James Hebert, and myself open the doors for Open Mic Night. Whoever else wants to step up to the microphone and give their thoughts on the week in professional wrestling is able to do so. make sure you tune in tomorrow for, at the very least, Black Adam and Open Mic Night. You're not going to want to miss out on any of that coverage, both right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, as well as over on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network, multiverse of media, Open Mic Night, Black Adam, possibly Hard Times, if you will, all coming up tomorrow, and so much more coming up over the course of the month. You've seen the trailers, you know. To all my loyal fans and viewers, thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today, especially with the topic matter. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out on any of the content that drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles, fans of Matthew McConaughey, fans of Sandra Bullock, fans of Samuel L. Jackson, fans of Oliver Platt, fans of Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland, Ashley Judd, fans of John Grisham, fans of Joel Schumacher films. Anybody you can think of that would enjoy this video and this review, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this endeavor. Thank you once again to everyone who joined me and tuned in today. It really does mean more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.